So the IUPAT Western Regional Conference has come to an end. I got to kind of rush through this because I'm trying to catch my flight back to Seattle here any minute. This week was really great. We got to hear something that I and many of my brothers and sisters I've heard say, something we've all been thinking for quite a while within the labor movement, that it's not just the right, it's not just the Republicans, the GOP, it's not just the Democrats. It's not just all the groups outside of unions that are, for decades, haven't really had our back. It's not just their fault that we as union members and as unions and as a labor movement are struggling. We as union members and as a labor movement have a lot of responsibility in our own, I don't want to call it a downfall because we're still here and we're still strong, but it very much is apparent that we have finally realized that we do have some responsibility in this as a labor movement. And that kind of was the main message that I kept hearing over and over again here at the conference from our leadership, our General President, Jimmy Williams Jr., the GVPs, the BMSTs, and many of the, my brothers and sisters and siblings that I spoke to while I was here. And while it's kind of a Debbie Downer message, it's super refreshing to hear that we are finally willing to take a look in the mirror and let's remind our members that a union is a group of workers and not a separate entity. And those workers are us. And it's time that we stood up and came together and put our differences aside and realized that this world cannot operate without our labor. And if we come together, we are a powerful force. And I am leaving Las Vegas here in a matter of minutes. I'm ready to fight because it feels like the union that I'm a part of right now is willing to do what's necessary and what has been necessary for a long time, and that's to evaluate ourselves, find out where we have gone wrong, and honestly just be honest with ourselves, our members, our brothers and sisters, and let's rebuild this thing. I gotta say, I hate these events. They're not my kind of thing. I feel like it's a lot of pomp and circumstance most of the time. This time I'm walking away feeling like we have a goal, we have a game plan, and we're fucking pissed, and we're sick of this shit, and it's time to fight back. And I know I'm going to do the best I can to do my part. Anyway, this was meant to be a short introduction to the newest episode of We Don't Mourn with our General President, Jimmy Williams Jr. He was kind enough to sit down and speak on much of what I'm rambling about here. So yeah, I'll shut the fuck up and let Jimmy do the speaking. Because I think he has a lot of great things to say. He did this week, as well as all of the other leaders and brothers and sisters and siblings that I heard from this week. So I appreciate you guys listening, and I welcome you to join the fight with us. And I hope this podcast thing that we're doing is worth a shit, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm still talking, so I'll shut the fuck up now. All right, love you all. Shut up, Mike. All right, guys. Thank you. Jimmy, thank you for doing this with us. Appreciate you very much. I just kind of want to set the stage for where we're at, first of all, because one of the goals we have for this whole thing is to educate the members on everything. And like you even expressed today, we got a lot of education to do to get back to square one, right? So very briefly, where are we and what are we doing here today?
Well, yeah, and thanks for even bringing it up, but it's like education is such a broad term that I think for us, we got to start with just getting trust back from our members.
I would agree.
I think, the union has a responsibility to build trust with our members so that we can educate them on issues that are going to affect, all of us. And it's not easy. I mean, it's going to take all of us that work for the union, all of us that care about the union, all of our rank and file, to build those relationships, that trust, so that we can educate on issues that are affecting us. I mean, every day, and I say this all the time, people are always like, why is the union involved in politics, or why does the union do this? And it's like, wait a second, politics controls your life, whether you like it or not.
Sure, sure.
And, the government controls your life to an extent.
Sure.
And like, if we're not engaged in that, we're not doing our job.
Absolutely.
So we have to be able to communicate, and we got to educate our members about the issues that affect them.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, and I'm doing my best to stay away from that word politics, because I think the message really, I had the plan to try to pull this off when I came here, or before coming here. And then listening to you speak today, you really hit on something I've been thinking about a lot for the 7 years I've been in labor and leading into my coming into labor, which is, it's not just the right and it's not just the Republicans that have put us in in the labor movement in the place we're in right now, right?
Right,
And I
right.
feel like I've been hearing you say that today.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah.
and I've been saying it consistently, even like prior to Joe Biden's term in
Sure.
office. I think the Democratic Party lost its way a long time ago,
Yeah.
and I think the Democratic Party has attempted to try to serve two masters.
Sure.
There's one thing that's so true about the way capitalism works and the way capital works. It always wins,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when you can buy and rig the system,
Yeah.
which has been done. I mean, the simple fact that the Democrats have no issue taking corporate money, the
Yes.
Citizens United case
Yes.
changed our political
Yes.
landscape. It's like, man, we're dealing in a time where neither party has the best interests of working people.
Right.
I think Trump's done a good job of trying to educate people in his way of
Yep.
thinking.
Yeah.
Trump's from that world too. He's a
Right.
capitalist. He's he's a business owner. He's self-proclaimed billionaire. I don't think he is, but the truth is he's not a working class person.
Right.
The only people are us.
Absolutely.
And our members.
Yeah.
We got to get to a place where we have the power.
Yeah.
It's us.
Right.
And neither party could stop us if we did.
Right.
Well,
and again, that's a lot of what your message has been today, and it's all in my notes here. These are all notes from you talking earlier today, and really kind of where I wanted to start this was, I kind of already asked. You said every union has lost touch with its members. You said that here today, and I totally agree. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the unions have lost touch with their members?
Oh man, I think it's different in it's different based on geography. It's different based on what type of union. I can only really talk about us.
Sure.
And I could tell you, like, some of it is resources in certain areas. But I think another piece of it is within the building trades, and this is the culture we have to change. Within the building trades, it's always been like a transactional relationship with our members. And that's what we talked about here at the conference, is like, all of us joined for a reason that was very selfish to an extent, right? And I don't mean to call people selfish, but we wanted a better job. We wanted better pay. We wanted stability. All great things, all things that the union helps provide.
Right.
Better pensions, better health care, better. We wanted to better ourselves.
Yeah.
But the union movement's about a collective,
Right.
and it's about a group of people coming together to fight for those things. And I think along the way, it became the union leadership's job to negotiate contracts, to run healthcare, to do the training. And it's like the members' expectation
Right.
is a little different. And if we're ever going to build that power back, the power has to be given to the members to control the future of the union, right? And that's a big break, I think, from the model that we've used in the construction industry for a long time,
If I can jump in, so I didn't come through construction. I came from as an organizer at SEIU in the service industry to here. But I would say that I saw a lot of that in those industries. This detachment with, just unions in general. And I have my own theories. I'm trying not to put words in your mouth, or coax answers out of you. But I guess something that I think we need to return to, that the world has forgotten, is that a union is not a separate entity from the workers.
Yeah, it's not a third party.
So what would you say a union is?
Yeah, I mean, a union is, and like we said, we have to redefine our mission and our values to where it makes sense to the membership. But a union is simply the collective that's fighting to raise the standards for all, right? It's that. It's not a
collective of
service
what,
provider.
though? I guess is what I'm getting.
A collective of workers,
Thank
collective
you.
of
That's-
members.
yeah, so I guess I am trying to pull an answer
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's a collective of workers, and I think over the years we've built so much, and we've made so much progress. Like we're doing member education drives, and that's what we talked about here. And I go on a rant, and I probably should catch myself sometimes, but our largest growth ever as a construction industry was between the years of 1935 and 1947, right? Two monumental things: the right to exist under the National Labor Relations Act and Taft-Hartley. Taft-Hartley literally destroyed our ability to operate as a collective, right? But think of all the things that didn't exist between 1935 and 1947. You didn't have a defined benefit pension. You didn't have $150 million training programs, right? Like it was old school. You didn't have health care that was provided through the union. You didn't have these gold standard contracts that, literally have changed the trajectory for working people. Double time on Saturday, you know what I mean? Overtime. None of that stuff really existed. We were building, we were fighting for those things. And since 1947, we've been on a decline. And our power has declined, and we've become more and more of a service provider. That is not what a union is, and we got to redefine that.
I'm sorry, my notes are terrible, but you say
your handwriting's better than mine.
this is my shitty handwriting too, not my good stuff, because I was writing so fast. But attached to that, a note here. So you said the reality that we deal with, or that excuse me, you said when you were in November going out to job sites and talking to the members that you were constantly hearing, I haven't seen my rep. I haven't seen the international out here. And when we do, it's only about politics. And again, not to steer to politics because I don't want to here. That'll be for Chad. But but I can't say I argue that. I mean, I think I have witnessed that. Do you feel like? Would you agree with that? Yeah,
it's the truth. And there was a culture that I think we tried to establish rightfully. I mean, a lot of the things we do for the right reasons.
Right.
Of, hey, if it's a union job and you're a business rep or an organizer, you really don't need to be there. That job's organized. Move on to the next one. Right. That culture's wrong, and we need to break that habit because the truth is our members need us and they need to see their leadership. And then by the same vein, we also maybe took for granted certain things that over the years got watered down. Like we don't have an effective stewards program where our stewards are the ones on the job sites talking about the issues to the membership, empowered leaders, rank and file leaders, our local union officers and executive board, like they are leaders and they need to be the front lines. And if you're just waiting for your business rep to answer all the questions for you, a lot of times people don't even know where to go anymore, And we have to do a better job of onboarding our members, educating our members about union values from day one. We have to talk about them on the job site. We have to talk about them all the time, and we can't get away from that, But it is true. I mean, a lot of members, it's the one thing that I've heard consistently is like, we don't see from our union enough. That's going to change.
And I got to say, I mean, that was, again, super stoked to hear that today, that, because it's a massive problem we're facing as a labor movement, but there's a lot of easy fixes. I mean, and I say that, you know what I mean? But like, there's some easy notions, I guess, that we need to return to, which you've just, articulated here. And so,
this ain't rocket science.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. Is like, and it pisses me off because we go in these rooms and we have these meetings about like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's not hard. Like, we need to form relationships with our brothers and sisters and siblings, and we need to, basically everything you've been saying here. And so, I I've said it a few times, but I'm super stoked to hear these things, and because I've almost been afraid to even mention them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, right.
And so when I have leadership, of one of the largest trades unions, so we had a BMST today saying we shit the bed.
Yeah.
We had, I've been in other conventions where I'm hearing this message of just finally being honest with members.
Right.
I'm so stoked to see that because, and I've heard you say it, like, our members aren't stupid, man.
No.
They know this shit. So, I don't know. I mean, it's not really a question there, but I don't know.
No. I mean, it's not a question, but it's funny too, because I've had the conversations that we have, like you said, that are ongoing. I've had them with just about every business rep that I ever worked with. That's like, man, we need help in this. Like, we need to get our members more involved. And it's like, yeah, well, we got to do it together as an organization, like from top to bottom, and really build it from the bottom back up. And we got to do it together. Like, this is going to be exciting. This is fun work. This is not like something to overthink. Right. This is basic.
You're making friends. You're stirring a little shit up. Like it's
unionism 101.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. And it is fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because that's what people want. I think people in general, again, our members are smart. I think, most people want to be a part of something powerful.
Yes.
And something that's winning. Yes. And I think because our union movement has gotten the short end of the stick from our politicians for generations, I think people have seen the decline in our power.
Yeah.
And the only way to build power back up is from within.
Right.
And I think that's pretty simple a concept.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure, unless I get fired, I'm sure I will have plenty of opportunities to talk to you more. So I'm going to put my notes down, and I know you've got some other things to do today, but I did want to hit on one other thing I heard you say, and I'm pretty certain it was at the General Convention this past year, and forgive me if I don't get it quite right, but you said people approach you and they often say they're intimidated by you, which I can totally see. Forgive me, you're a Philly guy, right? And you do have this kind of intimidating aura, which is great as a union leader. But honestly, I've talked to you a few times. I've met you, and you're not hard to approach. Yeah. And what you said at the convention was,
I didn't throw a snowball at Santa Claus either.
No,
you know what I mean?
I
know Philadelphia Eagles fans and Philadelphia people get a bad rap. But.
So okay, well, and actually I've been to Philly, and I thought it was a very beautiful place, and some of the friendliest people I've ever met, actually.
There you go.
But but when you said that you've had plenty of people approach you and say they're intimidated by you, members, right?
Yeah.
And the line was something along the lines of, if you're intimidated by your leaders, those aren't. Do you remember what you said?
I do, because for whatever reason people have reminded me. It was simple. It was the minute that you're afraid to talk to your leader, you have the wrong leader.
Bingo, that was it. Yes.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Nobody should ever feel like they can't talk to their leaders.
Right.
And that goes across the entire spectrum of our union.
Right.
Every member should feel empowered and strong enough to talk to their steward, to talk to their local union executive board members, to talk to their business rep, to talk to their business manager, to talk to their vice president of their international, to talk to their general president. This isn't hard.
Right.
It's funny too, because like growing up on the job sites, like we never had a problem breaking each other's stones and saying whatever the hell we wanted to say. Well, let's just go back to that.
I love hearing that, because again, I think one of the biggest missing pieces is that, again, and I'm not the most articulate person, but I do feel like we have forgotten that we're all just real human beings here. We're all dumb, we're all smart, we're all knuckleheads, we're not. We're all the things, right? And it's not about an us and them thing, and not to really kind of grossly pull in the one union, one family, one fight, but that's really the truth, right? And it is. We're one union, we're one family, and we're one fight. And I guess I would say we're one group of workers, one family, which is a family of workers, and one fight. And I got to say thank you for doing this. And
for sure.
For anybody who is intimidated of you, I hope they are no longer, and they do approach you, because I'm glad to work for IUPAT, and a big part of that is because of you.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's really kind, but I'm thankful that people view our union as a union that's trying and fighting and really wants to get it right. You know what I mean? So
totally.
it's great to hear.
Yes.
So. And thank you.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, this is the second time we've done this, so I don't really know how to end them. So I just kind of awkwardly keep talking, and then eventually I'll fade to black, and then, anyway. So, but Jamie, thank you.
All right,
I
brother.
appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Good deal? All right, Chad Smith.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me.